Hello, I'm Tochku and I'll be taking you through the add expense and view expenses under the expenses section on Niva. So, expenses, when you make expenses in your business, this is how you can, keep track of your expenses and, a whole lot more on Niva. So, when you click on view expenses, it shows you like expenses that you have currently in your business. So, if you notice, some expenses are showing the serial number in red, while some are in black. Some have view, just the view option, while some have view and edit and a delete, right? So whenever you impute an expense, right, you would see these three options as of the time of recording this video. If the expense it has not been more than 7 days that the expense was created, right? Or you would see the edit, right, and the view if it's a credit expense and it's been more than 7 days that the expense was created, right? So, um, what um, what are credit expenses? Credit expenses are, when you make an expense and maybe you didn't pay complete, you pay part, or the vendor where you made the expense, they gave you the services, or they did whatever they did for you first, and you say you're going to pay them later. Maybe you people have that kind of understanding. Sure, that's what a credit expense is. Paid is when you have paid, right? So if you scroll down, you would see that this just has view, right? And because of all those things that were just explained. So if I click on next, you would notice um you would notice some have edit and view, and that's why you can see credit here, right? That's why you can actually see credit there. So that's on it. So whenever you see red, right, you see red um for the serial number of an expense. What it means is that that expense has been altered at least once since when it was created, and team members actually get an email anytime an expense is altered, right? Team members get an email, but the team members that get the email are actually the team members that get the email actually are just the owner of the business and the managers, right? So they get email notification each time an expense has been altered, right? So you can use any of these buttons to export the records to Excel, print it, export to PDF, and a whole lot more, right? So, but how do we add an expense, right? So let's start with that. So how do we add an expense? When we select add expense, so you can see it here. It's still listed here. It's still listed here. So it's still listed here. So if you come here, you will see expense name and amounts, right? So first things first, we need to select the expense name and amount. And what are expense name and amount? You can actually watch the ENA video to get more of that. But this video is tailored for production businesses primarily. So there's another video for businesses that are into trading, buying and selling, or expenses, right? So you can watch that if that's the kind of business you have on Niva. So you first select the ENA. So if you select a production expense, right, you can see it shows production expense because it's an expense associated with production, right? But if you select, say you select, say you select, let's select this, you can see that it's an other expense. So if you select this, you would have to select the product that the expense was made for, right? You have to select the product and put that. But let's just put an other expense. So um let's just select this, right? And then you have to select the payment type. So if it's a paid, like if you've completely paid for it, you select paid. But if it's a credit expense, right, you select credit, right? You select credit. So and if it's a credit expense, right, if you want to actually keep, like, you could use the edit option to be updating each step of the way, and we're going to get to that shortly. But if you want to actually go a little bit further to document the expenses, the prepayment, the payments, right, you made for the debt to clear the debt, you can actually use what they call um, credit expense repayment, and you can watch the video on that, right? So, but let's just select paid, right? So when we select paid, um, then we select the payment method, right? So let's just select others, right? In this case, and let's put the quantity. Let's just say 10, right? Liters of petrol. So let's just put that. And then if you use automatically calculate feature, right? So this is how this feature comes in. It's Niva is smart enough. It's automatically going to determine the actual amount spent. But let's assume maybe you got to the filling station and the price is actually 850 across filling stations, but that day maybe there was a promo or something and you were able to get the petrol cheaper, or you spent more getting the petrol per liter, but the actual price is 850. It's not the new price now. So you can use the manually enter it and enter the total amount you spent, and Niva is smart enough to know the difference between when it's the actual amount now or it's just a one-time thing, right? So it automatically handle all of that. You just put the total amount and it will store it, right? But it's not alter the ENA. If you want the ENA's price to be updated, you have to go and update it yourself to the new price. But in this case, let's just use manually, automatically calculate it. You select the date of expense, right? So when you select the date of expense, right, you can see you can select the vendor, right? So in this case, let's select the you can see that it's not in red. Wherever you actually have an expense that has this red asterisk, right, on a form, it means that you must actually fill those fields, right? So in this case, we don't have to select the vendor, but let's just select the vendor. Let me just give this use this, right? And we select the vendor where we purchased it, and we can select the employees involved in the expense. So we have to select that. So let's say this is driver, and then we can select the equipment. So equipment in on Niva are anything it could be anything that you use to do any equipment or tool in your business. It could be from vehicles down to computers, whatever it is that you deem an equipment that makes your work easier or use to carry out your business operations. You can store it as an equipment. So in this case, let's just select this, and you can see that you can select a bunch of equipment, right? But in this case, let's select this vehicle, and you can see that this one is not really in good condition, but that was what was used to go and buy at that time. And now when it comes to documents on Niva, right? Documents on Niva can be pictures, images within the file format. Any document at all that is within the file format allowed is what you can upload as a document, right? So you can upload up to 4 different documents. You can compile documents to get like pictures together, for instance, and put in one document and upload. So let's just select 2 receipts in this case. Let's just select this. Let's put 2 images. Say this, right? And then this. Select the image. Alright, so now that those images have been selected, right, then we can proceed to the video section, right? So what are videos about on Niva? So let's say, for instance, if it's a production business and you want to record certain things, maybe during the production process, and upload, or you want to actually maybe provide evidence of, depending on how your business runs, maybe the quantity produced, you can record the video, and actually that's for those who want the feature, and actually upload it to any video platform you want, or any file upload server, and then you copy the link and you paste it here. You can use these tips to see some, if you go to tips, to show you some web video platforms and some video that you can some video platforms that you can use to upload video and copy the link and paste. But Niva doesn't restrict you. You are free to use any platform you want to upload, then you copy the link and paste. So let's just get a link and let's just paste it. So let me just get this link, and I copy this and I paste it here, right? So we have additional details. We can add extra details. Let's just say petrol bots, right? But it's not mandatory. And when you click submit, you can see that it has been created, right? So when you click view, you can actually view the expense. So you can see the expense details, right? Every single thing, you can view them there. You can see where the expense was made, and you can view all of that, right? You can view every single information. So these are the documents that were actually uploaded in this video, and you can actually watch it from here, right? So but you can also print this page too, right? So let's go and edit this. If with this button, you can print the page. So if we come back to this place, right, you can notice that it's currently in black, but let's actually edit it. So if we use the edit feature, right, if we use the edit feature, you would notice here, so let's say we decide to increase the quantity to 11, right, to edit that. And then if you come to this document section, right, so if you actually select a new document, it will replace the existing document there if there was one before. But if you select delete, it deletes the documents. But if you actually select to upload a new document, it's going to replace it and you'll not be able to delete the documents, right? Unless you submit and you click edit again. So in this case, let me just check this to delete, and let's just put a random picture, right? Let's change the picture first. Let's just see. Let's get another image, right? So let's use this to replace the existing one there, right? And you can also replace the video links if you want within the period that you can still edit. So when we click update, so it sends email notifications to the owner of the business and the manager, right? So you can see now that the expense is showing in red, the serial number, right, is showing in red to say that it has been edited, right? You can see that this and all of this got updated, right? So if we click view, you can see that all those details, this is showing in red because it's trying to show you that this expense has actually been edited, right? So it gives you all those details, right, and you can see that those other documents are not there, and this is the new document replacing it. So you can watch the video, right? So let's go back to the expense. So if we click edit, right, we can delete an expense. So when we click on delete, it will delete the expense. Yes, so once the expense is deleted, the owner of the business and the managers actually get notified. You can see that that expense has actually been deleted. So let's look at something now. Let's assume let's create a credit sale. A credit expense. When we create a credit expense, right? And I did made mention of something, right? So if you select a production expense, right, it's going to show type here production expense. So that's for production businesses, right? Then you have to select the product produced, right? And then you select all of that. But in this case, let's just keep it simple. Let's just select this. So I'm trying to create a credit expense. So an expense that you got the goods, or you got whatever it was from the vendor or the person supplying it, rendering it to you, but you're yet to pay. So if you change this to if you use credit, right, and let's say quantity 10, right, and let's leave automatically calculate it, and let's say today was when the expense was made, and let's just say the employee involved in the expense. So, and let's just click submit, right? So if you click on view, there's a feature that you can actually use. So if you actually want to keep track of individual payments, like you want to do it in that way, let me say the total amount is 8,500, but let's say you paid 5,000, right? And you want to keep track of all those. You can do it in two ways, right? You can use credit, add credit expense, and you can click on view credit expense repayments. But more of that in the credit expense repayment video. So you can use those options to actually properly document each step of the way that you are paying till you have completely cleared the debt, right? But if you don't want to use that, you can still use the regular edit feature, right? So if you use the regular edit feature and you click on edit, so you can still use this. You can use the note feature to just document each step of the way. Each time you make payment and you update it, you make payment and you update it, till when you have completely done, then you can change this from credit to paid. So when you create if you decide to use the credit expense repayment feature, right, you would have to completely document each step of the way before you can come and change this from credit to paid. But if you use this, you don't have to bother about that. You just keep documenting it. If you want to document using the note feature, Then you can use documents to upload documents, and then you can actually now convert this from credit to pay, right? So that is how this works. So if it's a credit expense, as long as it's more than 7 days, once you convert it from credit to paid, and it's more than 7 days since when the expense was created, you will no longer be able to edit the expense. So that's on it. Um, so thank you for your time. We hope you enjoyed the video, and do have a wonderful day.